Hello and welcome to Blooming Curious, the podcast dedicated to reimagining early childhood education through the power of curiosity. I'm Edwina, your host, and here to explore the strategies that inspire a lifelong love for learning in children. So if you're homeschooling or you're a curious educator looking for creative, meaningful ways to engage children and move beyond the talk and chalk traditional classroom approach, then this is the place for you. It's Saturday morning. Your child walks into the kitchen and says those words that make your heart sink. I'm bored. And immediately you feel the urge to fix it, to suggest something, to pull out the craft supply, to turn on a screen. But what if that moment of boredom is actually one of the most valuable learning opportunities your child will have all day? Remember that saying, boredom is the mother of invention? Unfortunately, in trying to fix things for our children, we've robbed them of learning skills to fix things for themselves. Think about how different childhood looked 20 years ago versus today. Kids used to have hours of unstructured time, and now their calendars look like a CEO's schedule. They have every hour of their day planned out for them. So it's no wonder they don't know what to do with themselves when they have 5 minutes of nothing. So then those unstructured minutes, of course, they're going to become what is perceived as boring. But boredom is actually really important. When kids experience boredom, their brains are actually looking for solutions. This is what we call executive function in action. Boredom creates space for creative problem solving, for self-directed learning so they can come up with something to do on their own, for understanding their own interests and motivations, and building tolerance for frustration, because life isn't always just unicorns and rainbows. I remember hearing something years ago, someone saying that their child who had complained of being bored. And so this person said, well, there are leaves to rake, bathrooms to clean, laundry to fold. In other words, there are a million chores to do, so pick one. And I think it's really important that children do have chores in the home, that they do contribute to keeping the home tidy, that they play their part in the family. But at the same time, having that empty space of having nothing to do also creates opportunities for creative thinking, for problem solving. I remember many, many years ago when my brothers and I were children, we spent a lot of time at our grandparents' home. And behind their house was this empty plot of land. And for some reason or other, there was a discarded piece of kitchen furniture, like a kitchen counter thing. And as kids, we went around, and what we did was we found empty bottles. We filled them with sand. We found some stones and a whole bunch of other bits and pieces. And we set up a pretend shop. No one told us to do this, or no one showed us how to do it. We were just left to our own devices to figure things out. And it took time to scour the place for the things we needed that we wanted to pretend sell. It took time to set this shop up. And then, of course, we had our roles as shopkeepers and customers. And it was hours of playing and entertaining ourselves. And the key point to this is that no one jumped in to tell us what to do. If there was ever a need to fix it, they certainly resisted that urge. So I want to give you 3 practical strategies to use boredom as a teaching tool. Number 1 is just normalize it. You can say something like, I hear you're bored. That's just your brain telling you it's ready to learn something new. So what do you think you can do about it? And notice you do not offer solutions. Number 2 is you create the conditions. You make sure that the children have access to open-ended materials, cardboard boxes, art supplies, books, and outdoor space. But you don't tell them or direct them how to use them. And number 3 is you just wait it out. Those first minutes can be uncomfortable. Kids will test you. But after 15 or 20 minutes, a shift happens and they will start creating. But only if you do not offer them a screen, because screens kill creativity, because they have to create something on their own. But the screen has already created it. It's entertainment on tap. So our children have become passive consumers instead of active creators. So what can we as parents do to shift our mindset? Our job isn't to be the entertainment director. It's to be the guide that teaches them what they're capable of, to create their own engagement. So the next time your child says, I'm bored, take a breath. See it as an opportunity, not an emergency. If you found this helpful and you want more practical strategies for raising independent creative learners, please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode the next time one comes available, next week, for example. And if you're feeling generous, please leave a review. It really helps other parents and educators find these conversations. And besides the weekly podcast episodes, you can also subscribe to Get Curious. It's my weekly newsletter where I provide inspiration and strategies for keeping ourselves and our children curious. So thanks for listening. It's been a short and sweet episode. And until next time, stay blooming curious.